Welcome to the NMAA podcast, the best basketball league in Orlando and the longest running Muslim sports league in America. Based out of sunny Orlando in Florida, featuring weekly game previews, player stats, heated rivalries, and guest stars. Now, your hosts, Waaris Zaheer, the Komish, Zaheer, the Don, Dev Lachman. Take it away, fellas.
What's going on, NMAA family? We are back with another edition of the podcast. I am your host, Waaris Zaheer, joined again by Ahmed Alshaari, aka new coach of semi-pro for next season. So he's paid his dues. He's run through the ringer. We've tested his ball knowledge. And he's come out for a year trial, and we'll see what happens. Ahmed, how you doing, bro?
Alhamdulillah, bro. I'm good. Yeah, my goal when I joined NMAA is to be in every single group chat, and I think I'm basically there now. Like I'm in the operations group chat with the table, the podcast, the coaches chat. I'm there.
You're creeping. You're like that CIA guy on TikTok. I don't know if anybody's seen that guy making the rounds, but if you do, that's ball knowledge. But Week 1 of the playoffs are in the books. Ahmed, I am now joining you as not playing in this season anymore because we have been eliminated. But annoying season. That being said, I'm going to say this right now. No draft, stipulations when you're picking a player.
Yeah, no losing picks. Yeah.
No losing picks. That was a fail. And it is what it is. But first game of the week from last week, Malik versus Jund. And Malik wins the game. Adam Dorsey, replacement for Weezy. 22 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals. Marcus Ford with 21. Hani with 20 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 blocks. Wasim had 6, 5, 4, and 2 steals himself. For Jund, Norris replaced Sharif, had 18. Darius had 15 and 10. Derek had 11. Honestly, the main takeaway for this game, in my opinion, was you could tell that it was just too different of a team with Norris on that team. Obviously, Norris and Sharif playstyles are so different. They're both good scorers. They're both good shooters. But Norris needs the ball a lot to be effective. And Sharif can kind of score off the ball as well. But that's not an indictment of either or. It's just the fact of the matter. And then when you have a playstyle that comes in and is just so different, whereas the replacement on the other side was Adam Dorsey, who is, like we said on the podcast, kind of a just fit in any type of system type of guy. So we see that. Obviously, 20 rebounds for Hani, I think 4 assists, but he had a bunch of outlets to Adam, and Marcus had a great game too. I don't know, man. This Malik team is honestly scary going into the rest of the season or the rest of the playoffs.
No, you say that now, but look who they're playing tomorrow.
Well, they're playing Nars, right?
Yeah, but yeah, they have that formula, that they've been doing with where they force anybody into Hani's middle of the zone, force a bad shot up, cleans that up. He'd been throwing it to Weezy the whole season, and Adam knows how to leak out too. So it's like their formula didn't change much, and then Marcus always floating on that 3-point line. And I was looking at that stat sheet, that 21, he had 5 threes. So it's like, he's not used to not having as much defensive focus on him as this season that he's been, compared to when he plays semi-pro. He's always one of the main guys.
Right.
It's like 100%. Kevin Durant when he played on the USA team, and he was just spotting up.
He's like, how am I open? How am I getting these shots? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's a perfect comp. I think Adam fits in that team so well. Him and Hani are going to have good chemistry. and Hani is going to be there this weekend. So I'm excited to see what they do against Nars. But that game, honestly, that's all kind of to speak about. Malik was in control most of the game, and they came out on top. Speaking of a team that was in control most of the game, Commissars versus MIB. And for the Commissars, the first time seeing this stat sheet. Commissars win 87-80. James Nicholson out 25-6-3. AP with 23 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Speaking of Kevin Durant, yeah. Aaron Mitchell with 15, 9-3. Monk with 9 points. Amir had 2 huge threes, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. BG, which joined 20 minutes before tip-off. He had a decent game, too. D'Angelo, speaking of decent games, 45 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. Chris Emile with 26. Tristan with 11 and 6. Hare had a decent game. His stats don't show it, though. He had 11 boards. Honestly, so this was another game that it was back-to-back weeks. We're playing the same team. And last week, our zone was very, very effective against their team. But the thing is, they were missing AP. So we were like, well, AP's a good shooter, but he's not like a sniper. You know what I mean? He's not he's not a zone breaker type of guy. Conventionally, he's better against a man. He beats people off the dribble. But man, he came in and was raining middies. Like, it was so frustrating because he kept getting in soft spots in the zone and was just cash, like nothing but net, which gave them a big lead early, and we had to come out of the zone, and the zone was so effective last week against almost the exact same team. But AP, man, I think he led that first half charge, and then James kind of took over in that second half. But speaking of taking over the second half, D'Angelo, my goodness, was everything that he was supposed to be this season in that last game. He did everything we needed him to do. He was guarding James on the other side and a man. And he was on an island. This dude was, shout out D'Angelo, man. He literally, we would call a timeout or we'd get a break in the action. He'd go sit down on the floor on the bench. He'd be like, dude, and he'd be sitting on the floor and his arms would be like on the bench and he's just breathing. He's just deep breathing. And I'm just talking. And I don't even know if he could, like, if it's going into him because he's just breathing so hard. But he was going downhill every single time and getting a layup. It was crazy. We actually ended up cutting the game to 2 points, I believe, in the third quarter. And I guess they were in a man, and we kept torching them. And then they went to this box and one. And in that box and one, they had AP on D'Angelo, and essentially they had 5 guys guarding D'Angelo. Everybody was just looking at D'Angelo. And it just became so much more difficult on him to score. And then they were just hitting shots on the other end. James hit a couple tough buckets. He had this one that was like one-legged step back post fadeaway off the glass. I'm like, what? I'm like, what the hell?
Little left hand he had over Chris.
That was tough defense, too. Bro. Yeah. So we honestly didn't. I didn't play great. I think Tristan would tell you that he didn't shoot well either. Chris had a decent game, and D'Angelo had a good game. And then, other than that, and then Hare played okay. But other than that, man, it was not great. And the Commissars are deep. They're a deep team. They're a talented team, and honestly, they did what they were supposed to by winning that game. And I know you're doing clock for that, but what were your thoughts going into it?
Yeah, honestly, that was a really fun. Yeah, that was a really fun game to watch. Like, I picked the correct side, even like the blowout that was happening on the other side. But yeah, that was the D'Angelo that you were expecting in the beginning of the season. The reason you lost those picks, you know, he was doing that same thing he was doing when he was playing in that pro season, where it was on Ozzy's team, where he would just kind of take his man off the dribble, go left, and it's a layup. It's basically that first step is so fast; it's just a layup line every single time. But it's just the depth of the Commissars, like you were saying. AP was that first half. It was like it felt like it's just every single bucket he was getting was like loud. Maybe it's just Amir letting us know that AP scored every single time the ball went into the hoop. You can hear, you can feel the impact of those baskets.
Yeah. You really could. The Amir back-to-back threes. Speaking of Amir, there's I don't know what quarter it was in. I think it was the third or early in the fourth, late in the third. He hit 2 back-to-back threes, and we had cut it to like 3, and he had like stretched it back to 9, and it was one of those where it's like, gosh, dang it, man. And what would happen is we would go on a run with a lineup, and we just gas out, So their depth really helped them because they didn't ever really look tired, to be honest with you, and we looked very tired in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they rotated in, BG was like rotating, Bird was rotating, Amir was rotating in, and they didn't necessarily. I know AP was kind of scoring a lot, but they didn't necessarily get the ball back to him, back-to-back possessions. They were kind of staggered a little bit. Same thing with James's buckets. He would score 1 or 2 baskets, and then he would kick it to the Bird, and then he would one-legged fade away, nothing like that.
Oh my God!
Remember that one shot? That shot went up, and I was like,
too.
Yeah, I was like, no way that goes in, right? The guy was literally on his shoulder. He turned around and it just bounced, and it went in. And I was like, oh, yeah.
There was a couple baskets that hurt my feelings in that game, and that was definitely one of them. I was like, come on, man. Because it felt like we were right on the brink of taking a lead, and that would happen every single time. But anyways, well-deserved to the Commissars. Tough season for us. I'm glad it's over. But in hindsight, no more pick taking, please. That was a little excessive. Anyways, another reason for me to be pissed off. Nars 92, Amani 71. And there's just one story of this game. And we can argue on what it is. Some people will argue what it is. But this first
40, 10, and 11.
Josh Fillmore. 40 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. And for those people that are not aware of the controversy that's going on, maybe you're like, why is Josh Fillmore on their team? Ish, who won MVP and Offensive Player of the Year, shout out Ish, replaced by Josh Fillmore. Now, I love Ish. In my opinion, Josh is a different type of basketball player. Now, I'm not saying that Amani really had a chance in this game anyways. Sorry, Amani. Sorry, your team. Elliott with 21 points, Isaiah with 16, Debo with 12 and 13, Tony Koo with 10. Honestly, what is the season of replacements, dude? We have so many replacements. There's 3 replacements on this side, and I believe 3 on this side. So
technically 4 of the 2 of the same slot of player.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. 4 replacements on this side. So 7 replacement players. This is really the season of replacements. But
yeah, I think every team had a replacement except you guys this season.
Yeah, we didn't have a freaking... I should have kicked somebody in the knee. Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, listen, Josh Fillmore, 40, 10, and 11. He had a triple-double going into the fourth quarter. He had 32 points going into the fourth quarter. They cruised to victory. Amani never had a chance. I mean, to be completely honest with you, this game was never close. Josh, and I know this is his style, right? But it didn't even look like he didn't even try, right? And he does this in pro too. I don't know if you know Ahmed, but in pro as well, I had him for a season. There was half the games, it looked like he didn't try, and he averaged 27 points a game. So that's... I mean, I don't know. Their team is super, super just loaded now. And they have a guy now that it does not matter what the defense does. And I'll say this, the main difference, because Ish is a great player too. The main difference I see with Josh and Ish is that Ish, you can still move and bump. He's not gonna necessarily run into a Hani and finish, or run into one of these bigs and just kind of kill him. And maybe he will. He has a little floater game too. But what I mean is, you can still push him and out physical him and kind of rough him up. Josh is all of 6'2" point guard, and he's I wouldn't call him stocky, but he's not small. You know what I mean? So he can rise up over smaller guards and he'll just, like, you're not even contesting him. And he can also drive into the lane, take a bump against legit bigs, and finish over them. And anyways, I love Josh. I'm glad I get to see him on Sunday, but he's no business being here, bro. He's no business being here. It's like, why are you here, dog? He'd be walking around with his laptop, like, mad nonchalant. That's my boy, though. So, and Sid's my boy, too. I know they might have been, this Sid's hurt, so let's make him feel better. Here's your replacement. Here you go. But I don't know about that one, man. Ahmed, your thoughts?
Honestly, I'm going to talk more about that Amani team because honestly, that's just such a super unfortunate situation.
What is there to talk about?
No, just like their season, how it went. I feel so bad for Debo because their team was solid coming out of the draft. And, they had like a few good games. Rolla good. Darius has been great this season. And then it was Heron's injury followed by attendance issues. And then Rowe had like super unfortunate situation. He also had to get replaced, and then Heron's replacement had to get replaced, and it's just
it became a nightmare.
It's very unfortunate, because if they were solid out of the draft, but it's just like sometimes those seasons happen. But what are you gonna do?
Implodes in your face. It's just bad timing. I don't think it's his fault either. But but Nars moves on. We'll see what happens in the rest of the season, but. Last game of the week, and it did not disappoint. The game of the week, Al Nassr versus Goldenrod. Goldenrod wins 67-64 in overtime for Al Nassr. Alex Ford with 18 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Nick Tuhi with 14, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. I think his best game of the season. Arib with 10. Noodle with a quiet 6, 11, and 7. For Goldenrod, AK Akbar Yassin with 23 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Tim McGuire with a very important 18. Zaheer with 11, 3, and 4, and 5 steals. He does so much stuff that's not on the stat sheet, though. Patrick with just 7 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 blocks, though. Turned his ankle in this game. This was an interesting game throughout, to say the least. Honestly, very low scoring to start. And then Patrick turned his ankle. And then in that second half, the first half was kind of back and forth. That second half, it got real interesting because Patrick had turned ankle. You could tell he wasn't moving normally, right? So he wasn't getting the ball in his normal spots. They weren't really looking for him in his normal spots because he's just hurt. So AK kind of had to take over, but AK and Tim were like almost trading buckets at one point. And I made this joke on video where I was saying Tim averages 15 points a game, and his averages are he goes on a 7-0 run by himself, and then he goes on an 8-0 run by himself, and that's his 15 points per game. Like, that's literally how he does it. It's like he scores all 15, or in this case, 18 of his points in like 2 spurts, and then he's just done. And
that's it. Yeah.
That's it. So in the going into the fourth, actually, Goldenrod had a 10-point lead, and they were kind of putting it on, and they looked like they were about to run away with it. Then Nick came in and hit 2 huge threes. Arib hit a 3. Alex hit a 3 from the corner. Obi had a step back and one in Patrick's face. I was like, what is going on? But after all that, it's a 6-point game. Goldenrod is up. It's very simple for them to put it away. There's 2 minutes left. Okay, so if they get a stop, it's almost not guaranteed, but it's very, very difficult for Al Nassr. Then Ramsey, I think got confused on defense. They were in a man, and Nick was hot. Nick is wide open on the wing. Like, he's so open, and I'm like, he was so open. I was like, who is supposed to be on him? Like, it's like nobody within 10 feet drains a 3, right? Go on the other side, turnover by Goldenrod. Then they get another chance to tie. Ariba's open in the corner 3. Ramsey fouls him. First of all, Ramsey tried. This is the craziest move I've ever seen. And you can go watch this on video, Ahmed. You probably missed this. Ariba's wide open in the corner. Ramsey runs at him with his shirt up. Ramsey lifts his shirt and starts running at him. Right? And first of all, wild move in itself. Right? Second of all, I don't know if he blinded himself with his jersey, but he just straight up just runs into Ariba, hits him. And Ariba gets 3 free throws with 50 seconds left. Down 3. And Ariba's clutch because he hits all 3 of those free throws. Makes it, ties the game. On the other side, you think that they're going for a last shot. Tim takes his wild boy step back midi, which is not open. It was a crazy shot. I'm like, I can't believe he's shooting this with 35 seconds left. Shoots it, gets his own rebound. And it's like, oh, okay. They're kind of safe. They can take the last shot now. Then they're dribbling up at the top. They move it back and forth. And then Tim sees, okay, I got to go now. Gets a screen. Zohib's wide open, and Tim just throws it away. And he panics, and he throws it away. And it's timeout on Nasser. And Nasser has a chance to win the game in regulation after being down 6 literally a minute ago. And then they actually dropped this alley-oop inbounds to Yassine, and the pass gets tipped. It was actually really good defense. It was a good play. Pass gets tipped, goes out of bounds. Alex puts up this turnaround, misses. Overtime. In overtime, Yassine wins the tip. They go down to the other side. There's Ariba puts up a horrific shot. Yassine cleans it up and then drops it off to Noodle. Noodle scores.
Yeah, it was a crazy pass, yeah.
So 1st to 5, right? And you're thinking, oh my God, Goldenrod is literally going to choke this game away. They were commanding position and just completely screwed themselves. And then here comes AK coming out the phone booth with the Superman cape on because
it's crazy.
He comes out. They do a little bit of dribble handoff. Shout out Zohib, by the way. He knew, you know what? I got to get AK the ball. Zoe comes in, hands it to AK on a dribble handoff. AK is legit NBA range. Like, he's a little bit further than NBA range. And he looks at him and he goes, you know what? I'm pulling this. Pulls it. And as soon as you see him shoot it, I said, that is going in. And splacks it. Nothing but net. Hits a 3. I'm like, oh my God. The next possession, so now Al Nassr needs a 3 to win. They go down to the other side. And I believe they miss a shot. It was not the Noodle look. They miss a shot. And then Goldenrod has another chance. Tim comes in and hits the bottom of the rim, which was an insane layup attempt. So I'm like, dude, what is going on? They go back to the Goldenrod side. Noodle has the cleanest look for game that you can ask for. Comes in, catches it, squares up, lets it go, and he shoots it, and I'm ready to scream like, okay, this is game over. And it hits back of the rim. And what's crazy about that play is Patrick got the rebound, and Zoe was by himself on the other side. So all Patrick had to do was chuck it, and anywhere over half court, it would have been game. And he gets fouled. Last possession, AK comes down, gets a screen from Patrick, and then he gets doubled because they're like, we can't go under the screen again. Drops it off to Patrick. Patrick step through. Layup, game, Goldenrod win. And it was, I mean, I'm probably underselling it. It was legitimately an instant classic. AK was hype. Whole Goldenrod team was hype. Patrick's first playoff win, which is baffling.
That's insane, right? Yeah, they had a couple of first-round exits.
Right. So baffling that's his first playoff win because Goldenrod's been pretty good. But Ahmed, you watched this whole game. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that was a great recap, Waaris. So I'm just gonna touch on a couple of like those plays at the end of regulation. That Tim turnover, I think he was about to rise for the shot, and then he just saw 7 hands go up in front of him. I think it was Alex, Noodle, and Yassine, where all 3 were contesting it. So he saw Zaheer was wide open because I think Alex was guarding him, but he was also contesting the 3. So he changed his mind from a shot to a pass. But Alex kind of tipped it backwards, and then whoever was standing in the paint, I forgot who grabbed it, and then Ozzy instantly called the timeout. So I feel like he felt like the pressure of the clock went to shoot. It was no way the shot is going up, and then he tried to bail on it last second, and it got tipped. And then for that little handoff action between Zohaib and AK, it was they kind of handed it back and forth twice. Arib was face guarding AK.
He was doing a good job.
Majority of the game, he was denying him the ball because I don't know. Everybody was saying I've been hearing people on the sidelines was give AK the ball and get out the way or whatever. But it's not as easy as it looks when a guy like Arib is chest to chest with you from basically the end of the court. And he was doing a great job. But then, on the second handoff, right, Zohaib was kind of, setting the screen, but not, that little, I'm not really setting a screen, I just happened to be here, kind of.
Yeah.
And Arib ended up kind of navigating under. The one time he ended up navigating under, that's when AK had, set it, took the ball, set his feet, and, laced that NBA range 3. And then that last play to win the game, I know you were watching it from the video side, right? But AK was kind of, on the wing closer to the table. When he ran that pick and roll with Patrick, that threaded pass,
that was
I've never in my life seen a tighter pass. I'm pretty sure it looked from my angle it basically skimmed one of the 2 defenders' arms. I think he might have probably felt the air from it. And when then Patrick grabbed it, stepped under, dribbled, and laid it up. It was insane, especially from the table view side. It was it didn't look like he had that pass, but he did.
Hey, man, AK threw a cape on for sure in that overtime, because wow, if he didn't make those 2 plays, because I would argue, obviously AK shooting that shot's a good shot, but in a vacuum, you're down 2, right? The other team is essentially on an 8-0 run right now. And you take a 30-foot 3 in overtime, if you better make that shot. That is a bold shot to take. He laced it. Now, obviously, AK, best shooter in the league, put it up every
3-point title, yeah.
Put it up every time.
Nobody doesn't want him to take that shot, yeah.
Right. Everybody thinks that's a good shot because AK's taking it, but I'm just saying the confidence to just come in and just save the season. Not even save the game. Mm-hmm. You saved the goldenrod season, so shout out.
Unless being haunted by going under on deep threes, huh?
Oh my God. Alex,
stop going under, guys.
Alex, we gotta come up on that screen, my boy. What's going on, bro?
No, that's 2 seasons in a row. The second one was Arib, though. The season before was Alex.
But if you see Alex, because Arib gets bumped, Alex could recover and then go over. I know technically, Arib could have went over as well, but he was guarding Zohaib. When he saw Zohaib was getting in the way of Arib, he could have came up. If you go back and see the video, he could have definitely came and contested.
I think I saw Arib kind of point because he knew he went under and he shouldn't have. So I think he called the switch, but by then it was too late. Yeah.
It was too late. He laced it. But yeah, and shout out. It's crazy because that noodle 3 goes in and we're having a whole different conversation about how Goldenrod choked the game away. But he missed, and to the winners go the spoils. So we'll see this weekend who is going to lift that trophy, because now we have the Final Four and we get to pick every game. Ahmed, let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
You're listening to the NMAA Podcast.
Your favorite podcast is here.
All right, Ahmed, we are in the Final Four stage of the picks, and I believe Amir has technically won the picks title. So shout out to Amir. He did very well in the picks. I think win percentage wise, by far first. So
maybe we can pull it up at the end for a little bit. The sheet is nice and updated.
Maybe we'll pull up that sheet. You're right. But the first game of the week, we have Kami SARS and Goldenrod. And Goldenrod coming off. These are the 2 closer games for last week. So Goldenrod coming off a thrilling overtime victory. They're filling themselves a little bit. And the Commissars are the Commissars. I think that they had a little bit of a hiccup in the middle of the season, and they're back to like a contender, like a legit contender status. And obviously, if you're in the top 4 in the Final Four, you have to be a contender. So let's get some analysis on this game. The starting lineups for the Commissars is probably going to be James, AP, Bird. I don't know if Amir starts anymore, but let's say Amir. He's supposed to start. He's their 4th round pick. And then either BG or Raheel. And I don't know who I would start in there. I think I would start BG just against this team because they're a little quicker and they have like smaller guards. But for Goldenrod, Patrick, AK, Zoe, Jamal, and Ramsey? Tim.
Yeah.
Tim. Yeah.
Maybe Ramsey. Maybe Ramsey over Jamal. Yeah.
So the thing with this is the Commissars are the bigger team, but Goldenrod's a faster team. And Goldenrod has the biggest player in Patrick. The thing is, how are you going to match up? Patrick, AK, Zoe, Jamal, Tim. Let's say they go man. They put Jamal on James. They put Tim on BG. They put Patrick on Amir. They put Zoe on Bird and AK on AP.
Maybe?
AK on AP. Around, Zoe on AP. AK on Bird.
Yeah.
Now, I like AK. Bird can get in that low post.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to. But if they go zone, what are they going to play? 2-3? They can shoot him out of that 2-3.
Yeah.
I don't know how Goldenrod guard Commissars. This is my thing, right? So let's say for the other way around. All right. If they go man to man, who do they put on AK? AP.
Yeah. AP is pretty right? Straightforward.
Yeah. I would say they put BG on Tim, or they put Bird on Jamal. They put Amir on Patrick. They put James on Zoe. Those are good matchups. Like I feel like they could also play with James helping off. Like the matchups wise, if they go man to man, I feel like Commissars man wise match up better. But at the same time, that's with BG in the lineup. Now, if you have Raheel in that lineup, now I feel like Goldenrod can guard a little bit better just because Raheel's very streaky from shooting wise. BG's in there, you can't leave him open. But with Raheel in there, maybe he can help off a little bit, you know. So if AK is guarding Bird in the post, you could kind of help off and see if Raheel hits a 1 or 2 and then adjust after that. So, man, I think the biggest X factor in this game, I'll say this, is Patrick had 5 blocks last week, and he's league leader in blocks. But he also, I've seen him play. He's a good interior defender, but he's not as good as he can be. Sometimes he's in bad positions. Sometimes he's late on the help. Sometimes help-wise, he's just not in the right spots. But last week, he did a good job. Now, I'm almost thinking, like, is that an ankle thing? Because he couldn't move around that much, so he was just planting himself in the right spot, not moving from it. Or if it was something else, I don't know. But what they need to do is Patrick needs to dominate the glass because this Commissars team gets so many second chance opportunities, just how quick and how big they are. Mm-hmm. It's hard to keep him off the glass, especially with AP, man. He's a pest. So you got to clean up the glass. If they're playing man, you got to keep boxing them out. You have to box out your own man, and you have to make sure Patrick cleans up the rebounds. And on offense, Goldenrod needs to get hot with AK. AK needs to have a good game again. Tim needs to have 15 plus a game, or this game. Patrick needs to do more than 7 points, obviously. Mm-hmm. Patrick needs to be closer to 20. And I would say Zoheb. Zoheb's the funniest guy as a shooter because his form is immaculate, right? But he refuses to shoot almost. It's so weird. If you see the highlight package, shout out NMAA Basketball on Instagram. On the first highlight, Zoheb shoots a 3, and while the ball's in the air, he puts up 3 fingers like a gun and goes like that and like cocks a gun. While the ball's in the air, and then it goes in. I feel like if you're that confident in your jumper, you should be shooting more. If you're so confident that you're doing emotes while the ball's in the air, like, yeah, you gotta be more confident in your shot. So this is a tough game for me to pick. I don't know. Ahmed, who you got in this matchup?
Yeah, this is, like I said, I'm very torn on this matchup. Yeah, like on one hand, you think about how you're gonna guard Commissar, but then on the other hand, you know, Goldenrod has been in theory guardable the whole season, you know, but they find ways to win games. You know, like Tim would have his like a big game here and there. AK has been like the consistent 20. Ramsey is low key been like a sleeper playmaker for them. You know, he's like, I feel like the team plays very well when he's on the floor. So it's kind of rough. But also watching that Commissar's team, man, they have a lot of different ways they can score.
Yeah.
They get like, you know, 3 or 4 buckets where it's just give it to James, let him cook his matchup. They get a couple times where they like, you know, move the ball 1, 2, 3. Okay, BG's open for 3. Or 1, 2, boom, Amir's open for 3. Or one time, like, you know, a miss that comes up short always lands in Bird's hands.
Yeah.
Long rebound, AP is flying over your back and grabbing it. It's kind of like they always find a way.
Yeah.
But, you know, them Goldenrod boys are not gonna be happy if I picked against them. And, you know, my gut, you know, my brain is telling me Commissars, but my gut is telling me Goldenrod. And, you know,
which one are you?
I always listen to my gut. I'm gonna listen to my gut. I'm gonna go with the Goldenrod. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, those are my guys, Goldenrod. They know what's up. Honestly, I think a big X factor for them too is Hamza got a decent amount of. Hamza did not play well last week. Didn't make a shot, smoked a wide open layup. If Hamza can come in and be more effective on offense, because even in last week, when Hamza missed his first shot, they stopped guarding him, and then it became so much easier to guard him in the minutes that he was in. So I screamed at him once. I'm like, dude, if you're not going to do anything, you got to come sit down. Like, hit a shot, set a screen, do something. You can't just sit in the corner because they're just helping. Right? So he needs to be more effective. Now, he's been better this season. I think that was just a bad game on offense, and he did play well on defense. But in this tight of a matchup, you need those little differences. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Jamal didn't play well either. He couldn't make a shot. He smoked a layup, had a dumb turnover on where he traveled on a fast break. If he plays better and Hamza plays better, Goldenrod for sure can win this game. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that the Commissars win. I think it's going to be close regardless, just because the Goldenrod boys, they got heart. Even if they're down 12, they're going to...
The boys play hard, yeah.
They play hard. But I'm going to give the slight nod to the Commissars. And I think the Commissars, their size is just a little bit too much. I don't know if Patrick's healthy too. So I got Commissars in a 79-75 victory over the Goldenrod, and then going to the finals. Next game of the week, we have Nars versus Malik. Now, Nars, their lineup, you might as well not even look at the screen. It's completely different. They have so many replacements. But they have Josh, Amin, Allende, Andre, and Chavis is probably their starting lineup. And for Malik, it's probably Adam, Hani, Marcus, Teeks, and who is their next guy that starts?
Wasim, probably?
Wasim? Yeah, Wasim.
Wasim or Ian? Ian starts sometimes, I think.
Yes. All right. Wasim or Ian. So I think against this team, they might start. They might start Ian actually. But anyway, I'm curious what they do with that. Honestly, man, I don't know. This Malik team is going to go zone. And Amin, you're going to go zone against Amin, Andre, Josh. Chavis has to hit a couple shots. They might hedge off that way. Allende has been so efficient and solid at his size. I think we got to give him some more respect. I don't think that big man matchup is as dominant as it usually should be with Hani on the court. I think if Allende especially can just neutralize kind of what Hani does and down low, that would be enormous for Nars. That being said, Hani as a paint protector is almost impossible to stop. So you're going to have to shoot them out of that zone. But they're more than capable. And how I know actually they're more than capable, Josh, after the game, I'm talking to him, and he's like, bro, Kevin Love is nice with it. He don't miss. And I'm like, who's he talking about? I said, Kevin Love. He goes, Prime K Love? I said, who is Prime K Love? I said, yo, who's Kevin Love? He goes, dude with the headband on our team? Number 30? I said, Amin?
Kevin Love.
He goes, I'm like, Amin is Kevin Love? And then he's like, bro, the dude with the headband, I don't know. He's splashing all over the place. That dude don't miss. I said, I don't think I've ever heard anybody call Amin Kevin Love. But it's so funny because in semi-pro, we're like, oh, he's Luka. But when Josh has the ball, he becomes Kevin Love because he just sends a screen and pops out and he doesn't miss. So Amin's been one of the steals of the draft. I love watching him play. Dude does not miss either. They won a game without Ish against Al Nasser where Amin was just like, I'll do it. I'll handle it. But just Josh, Amin, Andre. Andre has to shoot well. Chavis has to hit a couple. Josh has to. If Josh shows up and is, I'm not trying to be a jerk. If Josh shows up and is giving full effort, I mean, the Nars is going to win this game.
Yeah.
If Josh shows up and he's chilling the first half and they're down 10, he's like, whatever. Because he does that sometimes, right? Then I think Malik has a good chance. If Josh shows up, they can put a fire under his stomach. Yes, it might get ugly. I think it's going to be close regardless. But I got Nars in this matchup. Who you got, Ahmed?
I mean, yeah, like I've been saying, like I don't know if you remember the draft grades. I wasn't really that high on this Malik team, but they've surprised me. Like working their games throughout the season. You know, that little formula.
They just play dumb. So the problem is if they can cut out all the turnovers, they would be so much scarier. The problem is they're guaranteed to turn it over 15 times a game. It's like their baseline. They're like, oh, we had a good game not turning the ball over this game, and they'll have like 13 turnovers. They just want to give the ball to the other team. Anyways, you were saying, Emma.
Yeah, I was saying, but that little formula they have of that, suffocating zone and playing the fast break, it's been like effective for them. But I feel like effective is just like not gonna cut it against this ridiculously constructed Nars team. I've been high on them all season. Like even since the draft, I'm like, because they're coming into the season, I wasn't really familiar with Ish's game, but if he's as good as he was drafted, which he turned out to be, he won the MVP. I was like, this team is very well constructed. And yeah, they've kept it on through, and like I don't see a way for this Nars team to lose this match. I'm sorry if that's kind of mean.
No, I can see how they. All right, so
I love the Malik boys. I love all those guys.
Like, this is the exercise. How does Malik win this game? What is their formula? What do they need to do well?
So they need to deny Josh the ball, make it so that his teammates can't give him the ball as much as possible, and then don't lose Amin on the perimeter, and don't let Ayinde get a mismatch, and don't let Andre get a mismatch. If you sort all that out and still manage to get good possessions on offense, you can win this game. But I just listed like 5 things that all need to go right.
I also got NARS, but I think my formula is not as convoluted. But I see what you mean. I think yes, you got to limit Josh, right? Now, however you do that, I don't know how you're going to do that. You're going to put Adam on Josh. We'll see. But on the other side of the ball, you need to have less than 8 turnovers. You need Wasim to hit 2 threes. You need Hani to hit 3 threes. And then you have a legit shot. If Hani and Wasim can come in and actually shoot the ball well, that would be fantastic. Now, if Wasim's gambling on Josh, just GG's. Like the game's already over. The game's over today, Thursday, February 12th. If he's gambling on Josh, you have to stay home. So we'll see. So anyway, so your finals matchup is Goldenrod versus NARS. So we'll do this just to pick for fun. And mine is NARS versus the Commissars. In your hypothetical final, who you got winning that?
I got NARS winning that.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
With all due respect to the Goldenrod boys, man, if they run into NARS, what are they supposed to do?
Like AK pulls those same heroics, cuts it down to 20.
AK would have to score 40 points, which he could do.
Yeah.
He could. But anyways, in my hypothetical matchup, NARS versus the Commissars, I think that would be a fun matchup. I think if James could get hot. I think if James has one of those games where he's just hitting 30-footers, that game could get real fun. But AP could guard Josh and make him work for his buckets too. I mean, you know what? I'm going to be different. I'm going to pick the Commissars. I think the Commissars can take that game. And I think
the Commissars much better. I mean, the best out of the teams left with NARS, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at that lineup, man. That's actually... They could guard him decently. We'll see what happens. Obviously, next podcast will come out. Maybe I'll do a little podcast from the coach's dinner that we got coming up. I don't know if you're invited to that, actually. So maybe I shouldn't have said that a lot. But...
No, I am.
Okay.
Ozzy sending it out to the semi-pro rookie.
I know you were. I knew you were. But... Whew. Championship weekend, man. So we both got... So actually, you picked NARS. I picked Commissars. Let's see.
Thing, huh? Yeah. So he's gonna like that.
This season went by in 5 seconds. Yeah. Well, this was the quickest season I don't know why it felt so fast.
I think it's a combination of going down from 10 teams to 8 teams and multiple double weekends, like all at the same time. So it just kind of like flew by.
Flew by. Anyways.
Yeah.
We'll be back with the championship podcast next week. Ahmed, thank you so much for joining me, my boy. We always end up going at a pretty late time, so as you can see, I'm pretty tired. But I appreciate you always making the time. We had an interesting conversation earlier, and I do want to mention this. This is before we kind of got on. I was just thinking about, and as Muslims, obviously, we have to pray 5 times a day. And as somebody that doesn't speak Arabic, I always find it so interesting that people that speak Arabic, like you, Ahmed, when you start prayer, you guys are just talking. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're very, very fluent in Old Arabic, right? Because I know it's like classic style Arabic almost. And we have to memorize these surahs. For me, I'm like memorizing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I don't know anything that it means. I'm just saying sounds back to back, essentially. You guys are speaking a language to some extent.
Yeah.
I find that baffling, right? I couldn't imagine like starting prayer and just being like, "Oh, God is merciful. I'm praying to Him right now." Like I'll be like, "What?" Like, that's so crazy. I just, it blows my mind. Ahmed, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's kind of like it's the idea that you're understanding what you're saying to a certain extent. I think, like, we were chatting about this earlier. You kind of like, you pick, like, like you recognize the structure of the sentence, and the key words kind of make sense to you, but then you hear like an adjective or like a certain descriptive term, and you're like, and when you're listening, or like, to the imam reading, or you're just reading it in salah, it kind of like flows, and your brain kind of like, moves on to the next thing. Like you're saying all the ayat back to back, but your brain focuses on the ones that you understand. But, sometimes when you go back and you look at it, I'm like, I don't know what this word means. I don't know what this word means. And it's like, in one line, like 30%, 40% of the
Let me ask
stuff,
you this. Can you fill in the blanks, like context clues wise, what it's kind of saying?
Yeah, to a certain extent you can, because you're following the structure of the sentence. You have the context of like the story, if it's a story, or like if it's like a lecture or talking about like a lesson or like a formation or something along those lines. It kind of helps, but yeah, it's honestly fascinating hearing that perspective. Like I know a lot of people that like non-Arab Muslims, but nobody has ever kind of like brought this idea up to me. It's a fascinating perspective because even I growing up overseas, everybody I knew spoke Arabic. So
think about all the Muslims that don't speak any Arabic. There's so many.
Yeah, there's way more than Arab speakers.
Yeah,
it's like probably triple the amount, which is crazy. So it's like the reality for most Muslims. Yeah,
most Muslims are listening to this. They're like, just go Allah, the law. And it's like, I don't know what that means. I just know that it's just this is the way, and this is the pattern. This is how you're supposed to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy, even like I know, like my cousin is a very like. He's an imam and for a masjid over in Chicago, and his recitation is so good, and all of his like all these Arabic scholars are like, "Oh, where are you from?" And they're like, "You're from Saudi? Where you're from?" And he's like, "No, I'm from Pakistan." And they're like, "What?" They're like, "Wait, you speak Arabic?" And he's like, "Nah, kinda, but no." They're like, "Yo, you recited so perfectly. Like, we thought you were, So to the point where a lot of these Arab people would just walk up to him after Salah and start talking in Arabic, and he's like, "I don't know what you're saying," So it's great. Anyway, Ahmed, that's our little side talk for today. For a little, maybe people get a perspective of what Muslims talk like. And think
if you're on the league and you're not Muslim and you're curious about this stuff, talk to us, man. We'll be happy to chat with you, let you know about our faith. It's a big part of our lives. Yeah.
Just random questions. We do this is what we do. Ramadan's coming up. Come to my house for iftar, bro. You get real sleepy afterwards. We're gonna deep fry everything. I promise you.
Make it tarawih impossible.
But all right, Ahmed, thanks again for joining me. Everybody be happy. Everybody be healthy. Back with you next week. Peace out, guys.
My element.
We are NMAA. Basketball, Dean, Brotherhood.
We've got former college D1 athletes, former international players, competition at all levels. Come on, man, it's what we do best.
It's game time, grab your crew cause I got mine. Cause my 5, we gon' shut her down like prime time. We always ready, staying steady on these front lines. Lights, camera, action, and we live, call it showtime. This labor of love, we call the grind and dedication. Blood, sweat, and tears for years, call it determination. Don't get it mistaken with people hating on your greatness. We just patiently waiting to make a slam dunk statement. So turn the station to NMAA Podcast. Got the commission on going full blast. So when they ask who's the greatest in the state, well, we shaking bacon and breaking ankles and so wait. I'm too clean and precise with my jump shot. Celebrate with my bow and arrow, call it guns hot. Locked and loaded with my bag and my whole squad. Always rolling deep with my team, praising one God. Alhamdulillah.
Did you give it all you got? Did you give it 110%? Any team's capable of holding that championship trophy. Just depends how bad you want it.
I'm ruthless, I'm competitive. My drive's on fire, I'm so tentative. I dominate, call me executive. I'm a champion.
Let's go!
In the race of life, quitters never reach the finish line. I'ma get what's mine, gonna do the time, cause I'm in my prime. My mind is my weapon, my mental toughness is dead on. I'm a sharpshooter, top hooper. I'm a champion. It's not over till I say it is. Still working hard, beating blessed, time to live. It's all or nothing, I got all to give. Pushing to the last second, cause it's still time to win. Never too late, cause I'm the champion within. And the champions are made of perseverance, no quitting, no quitting. Ha, yeah, that's why I'm out here grinding day and night, day and night. Always hungry, staying humble, that's my way of life. Cause every team dreams of being the number one seed. But do you got what it takes to make it in this league? Giving it all, gave him a line, going 110. Claiming it all, looking to thrive, decisions always a win. I'm ruthless, I'm competitive. My drive's on fire, I'm so tentative. I dominate, call me executive. I'm a champion.
Let's go!
In the race of life, quitters never reach the finish line. I'ma get what's mine, gonna do the time, cause I'm in my prime. My mind is my weapon, my mental toughness is dead on. I'm a sharpshooter, top hooper. I'm a champion. I'm a champion. I'm ruthless, I'm competitive. My drive's on fire, I'm so tentative. At dominate, call me executive. I'm a champion.